Cheers, my community member. Respect you all and thank you for your sentiments and your congratulatory message. Let's drink for long life and long may the Cricket Forum continue. At this time, it appears that not even Darren Sammy knows what his squad will look like ahead of the first T20 match between Pakistan and the West Indies tonight at the stadium in Lauderhill, Florida. There has been no official announcement of the squad to play Pakistan. Now, one may look at this and assume that more or less those players who have played against Australia will make up the bulk of the squad. But is that really the reality? We are hearing of a number of injuries surrounding the squad. So, is it a case that they just simply do not respect us and they don't think that they should announce a squad to us? Hello everyone and welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I thank you for being here. I appreciate your company, and once again I want to thank you for your kind sentiments as my wife and I celebrate our 31st wedding anniversary today. Enough cheers, big up Mrs. Brown, and I love you much, darling. Now, when one looks at why West Indies have not released their T20 squad to play Pakistan later tonight, and I checked my phone up to about 10 minutes ago, and there were no official squad on the West Indies web page. The first thing that comes to mind is that the position of head coach and chief selector may be just too much work for one person. And you realize that, and I hope you make note that I did not call any name because I'm talking about the position in principle. And probably that position is just too much for one person and could be one of the contributing factor why we have not heard the squad that will be played, that the 11 will be chosen from to play against Pakistan later tonight. It's either that or they downright disrespect us. Although they call for our support, they call for moving forward togetherness. Isn't it disrespectful that they have not even communicated with us to say these are the players in the squad? What we know for sure is that Evan Lewis, Brandon King, Rovman Powell, Alzari Joseph, and Shimron Hetmeyer are carrying injuries. My understanding is that Evan Lewis is probably back in Trinidad. Brandon King, we are told that he's at the ground. Yesterday, West Indies have an optional training session. Only a few players turn up. Chase was there. Shafin Rutherford was there. Interestingly, Mark Dial was also training with the squad. Is it a case that we may see Mark Dial tomorrow turning out for West Indies? Let's wait and see. Whosoever turn out, we want the team to win. However, with just less than 12 hours to go before the start of the match, any decent cricket board, any decent organization would have at least talked to their stakeholders, talk to the persons who you are begging support from day after day. Talk to the people who are saying we're going to move forward together. Right now, I don't know how many of you know, but I do not have any understanding of who are going to play tonight, who is in that West Indies squad to play the match. I simply do not have any understanding. Now, why so many injuries though? And I'm just going to, because today I'm going to be very short, and you would appreciate that I'm going to be very short today. And yeah, I will be at the match later. Yes, so I will definitely be at the match later. But I'm trying to understand, why are there so many injuries? Mark you, if the players are injured, they are injured. We can do nothing about that if the players are injured. They are just simply injured. But are they really injured? Now, I have some theory that I want to look at. And the first one I want to look at is Maslow. Maslow in 1943 would have done some work on human motivation. He said, if players don't feel valued, don't trust leadership, or fear public scapegoating, they may withdraw. Is it a case that due to their poor performances and the pressure that they are coming on from the people, then persons will seek to withdraw from the team? Or is it that they no longer trust the strategy of the head coach? Let's look at, in such cases, even minor physical issues becomes exit strategy to avoid environment where they feel threatened or disrespected. So the key term, the key word for me there is minor. If you ask, I call his name a lot because he's someone that is universally respected in the Caribbean, Usain Bolt. If you ask Usain Bolt, he will tell you that he has never run a race without a minor nigger. He has never run a race except when he was a little boy without some nigger there. And most sport persons will tell you that they play with a nigger. We saw Ben Stokes just earlier this week, yes, because the match ends this week. The fourth test ends this week, bowling with a tier 3 muscle injury. So cricketers, sport persons all over the world play with injuries every time. But according to Maslow, in the theory of human motivation, players who feel threatened will use even minor injury as scapegoat. Festinger in 1957, in his theory, when he released his work on cognitive dissonance theory on internal conflict, when he said, when a player is expected to play for a coach they don't respect or believe in, cognitive dissonance occurs. Is that the situation here? I don't know. I'm just putting forward the theory of Festinger, who did comprehensive research on cognitive dissonance theory on internal conflict. So this is something that we always have to look at. Are players with minor injuries leaving the West Indies team because they do not, the coach, they do not respect the coach? And so he's saying in his theory, when a player is expected to play for a coach they don't respect or believe in, cognitive dissonance occurs. And those are the theories. There are other theories that you could look at. And just on the cognitive dissonance theory, one common way athletes resolve the conflict is by removing themselves from the situation, by withdrawing injury claims, or citing mental fatigue. Are those two last one resonating with anyone? Injury claims and citing mental fatigue. Those are two of the things that. You could also check out, I'm not going to go in details in these two, but you could check out Khan, who published his work in 1990, The Psychological Withdrawal in Toxic Teams, and looking at organizational psychology, and Latane, Williams, and Arkin's work that was done in 1979 on social loafing and silent protocol. So these are works that you could look at. There are two things, though, that I'm going to look forward to. I am going to see, should West Indies win the match tonight, some of these players who are citing injury, and again, I don't know if they're injured, if a man is injured, a man is injured. But I will be looking to see if some of these players who are citing injury, should West Indies win tomorrow night, if they suddenly, for the second match, they'll be fit. Or if West Indies win the first two, if suddenly, for the third match, they'll be fit. I'll be looking at that. I'll be looking at if suddenly they are fit right through the CPL. These players who are pulling out, I'm going to look at that. You know, for then now, I'll be able to come up with my own conclusion. So those things are things that we have to look at. And we must get some clear medical report. You know, Cricket West Indies must declare some clear medical report from these guys. They cannot just be like a Luke Shaw. One of the things that, if you followed English football or European football, the season is 9 months. And there are some players who will, at the start of the season, they are good, but 2 months in the season, they are always injured. And if their team qualified for like the final of the European Championship or the European League or the Conference League, or they qualify for the FA Cup final or any one of those finals, all of a sudden, everybody is fit. Everybody is fit. I want to make the point again, if a man is injured, a man is injured. But are these injuries only minor injuries? Are they finding excuse to withdraw because of the pressure that they are coming under? You know, it's going to be very interesting. But I saw this sign comes up that say my battery has finished, and I honestly do not have any charger with me right now. But I would have definitely loved to take your comments, but the battery is finished. So I look forward to talking to you some more. But those are just my views on the situation. West, at this time, it is very likely. Don't be surprised if you see Mark Deal in the West Indies playing 11 tonight in Florida. I talk about Peter Taylor from Australia, the story surrounding Peter Taylor from Australia, when instead of calling up Mark Taylor for the Australian team, the selector made a mistake and written down Peter Taylor name on it. Peter Taylor, I think he used to play for New South Wales. He was at a regular in the New South Wales team. Sometimes he'll play, sometimes he'll be dropped. Australia wrote down the wrong name. He came into the team and got 6 wickets first match against England because they said that maybe this is some omen. And once they wrote down the name, and so it delayed Mark Taylor debut into the West Indies, into the Australian team for probably about 6 months or so, because Peter Taylor, they made the mistake. He ended up playing 13 test matches for Australia, taking 27 wickets. Importantly, though, he also played 83 ODI for Australia. So a man who was wrong, name was wrongly written down, ended up playing 96 times for Australia. So if Mark Deal is in this team, whatsoever you think about him, he tonight, if he should play, he's a West Indies player, and we hope that he does well. As I said, unfortunately, the battery is finished, but if you're in Florida, I will see you tonight at the match. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Cheers. Big up yourself, Mrs. Brown. Love you. Respect, my dear.